Hello, uh, hello to all. My name is Andrea Ramirez, and it is my lesson plan. And first one, I'm going to develop the lesson plan to adolescents. So, a lesson plan to adolescents. The level that I choose is level V1. So, learning strategy. And I decided to work with cognitive strategies. Their strategies to help learners make and strengthen association between new and already known information, facilitate the mental structuring of information. The topic is directions. The objectives that I want to achieve is to help learners to be able to understand simple directions, to increase knowledge about simple directions, to motivate learners to give simple directions, to have further practice using maps, and finally to help students understand and give simple directions. Okay, to start, the warm-up is the activity previous of the introduction of about the topic. So in my warm-up, I should provide a definition of city for students to grasp the word. For example, I am thinking of a place where people live. It is very busy. There are a lot of cars, stores, houses, and offices. There are parks too. Give clues until students guess. We can provide a similar definition for town. Discuss briefly with the students where they prefer to live, if in a city or a town, and why. So the students going to practice and going to take in account the topic that we are develop in the rest of the class. Okay, for presentation, the teacher could use targets and will provide information about directions. Uh, Now the students will listen and check the words that they hear. Right, left, straight ahead, corner, past, across, or along. That are so the basis words that we're going to use throughout the class for to give or provide directions. For presentations, students will to listen an audio with some information about the pictures that you are seeing at that moment in your screen, and then she's going to choose the right words according with the audio. For example, they arrive at 10 after 2 or 20 to 3. So the student is going to practice their listening skill. Now, for the next activity, the student is going to read and complete the sentences. For example, according with the picture, they have to choose and complete what is the correct direction. We have to go left, right, turn left, turn right, in a corner, up, down, wherever that is in the picture. Now for the practice, students will to read a lecture about the bus station, about the direction that one bus in specific use through the day. So we have A, B, and C questions, and the students have to complete according with the lecture. No, check or cross the sentences. According with the lecture, the students have to choose or check if the sentences is true or false and have to write. That work is in the worksheet that the student is going to develop during the class. Productions. No, students had to practice uh, the topic during the class and now going to develop a production. The production, they have to read and complete the sentences. According with the pictures, they have to write if the people is, for example, the first one point say she ran across the park. So the student have to complete the rest of the sentences. So the materials for that activity are book, pen, color, pencils, maybe, DVD audio, screen, and recorder. For the assessment, students had to make a map and look the next places. Police station, bus station, supermarket, theater, stadium, hotel, hospital, and provide the direction for a person who doesn't know how arrive to each one place. Now, that is the lesson plan to adults. The level of the learners is B2, and the learning strategy is the same of the playing for to adolescents. Playing to adolescents is cognitive strategy that help learners make and strengthen association between new and already known information, facilitate the mental structuring of information. I choose that strategy because I think that is the most completely because they have to listen or read and whatever that the students to do they are going to structuring some information about the topic. So the topic is third conditional, and the objectives are to help learners to be able to understand third conditional, to increase knowledge about the use of third conditional, to improve listening skill through audios, to have further practice through speaking skill, to help students understand and give information using third conditional. So the warm-up for that activity is provide vocabulary that learners must take into account for the development of the class. Show the lecture and students have to discuss about it. They are going to make a summary and explain to the class. Activity 1. Uh, that activity is for the worksheet that the students had to develop. Activity 1. Working pairs. You are going to read a review of a book about Arctic expeditions called The Man Who Ate His Boots. Discuss that the next questions. A. What kind of environment is the Arctic region? B. What challenges do explorers face there? C. How much people do you know about the lifestyles of people who live in Arctic? Now, for activity 2, they have to read the first paragraph of the book review and find the following information. A. The reason for the expeditions, and B. The fate of the expeditions. The lecture is in the next part. Okay, that is the lecture. The man who ate his boots. Presentation. For to show the topic to students, the presentation is read the whole review. Are these sentences true or false? Students are prepared and know about the topic, some vocabulary, and they are a little relation with the topic, so they are prepared to answer that questions. And activity 4, We have A, B, C, D, and E sentences that they have to choose if it's true or if it's false. Activity 4. What do you think the title of the book refers to? Tell your partner. That work is for to work in pairs, and they have to talk and practice the speak skill. No, practice. Activity 5. Look at the sentences from the review. Which verbs are used to make the third conditional? No, pay attention. Because in that activity, the students or the learners will to practice all that they are learned during the class. So, A and B for to use third conditional. Now, 6. Look at the sentences in exercise 5 again and answer the questions. So they have to answer 1, 2 with A and B questions about the lecture. So they have to practice the third conditional, that is the topic that we have, that we want that learners to learn. Now, activity 7. Look the grammar box and find two more third conditional sentences in the review. That activity is in the lecture. Okay, for more practice, we have activity number 8. They have to rewrite the sentences using the third conditional and any words on parentheses. So, no, they have to practice the writing skill using third conditional with the words in on parentheses. Now we have activity number 9 for to practice working pairs. Match the pairs of the sentences. Then write a new sentence using the third conditional with would or could or might. So they have to use third conditional for to create new sentences. So they have to write production skill and writing skill. Now we have activity 10 for to practice 2. Think of 3 times in your life when you had to decide on a course of actions, whether it was important or trivial. Think about the answers to these questions. What Was it easy or difficult to decide what to do? How did you decide? What could have happened if you had done something different? So, no, learners have had to practice again production and writing skills. Now, we have the final point for production activity 11. Working pairs. Tell your partner about your decisions. Ask your partner the follow-up questions. Would you have done the same things? Uh, at this activity, students going or learners going to practice the listening, because they're going to listen. They are going to listen the partner. Production, because they have to write or to prepare the words that they are going to say to the partner. And no more. And finally, the materials that we're going to develop or use are book, pen, DVD, audio, screen, and recorder. And for the assessment, the students have to make a history using third conditional. Thank you, alert.